Hello everyone. In this tutorial video you will learn about how to orthographically project solids. And with these data given in this question, you will note it down and start understanding how to solve it. So here we are going to solve a problem on the square prism as we saw in the question, and the side length as well as the axis length are directly given in the question. Note that in all the problems you will have the base edge length and the axis length given as a data in the problem. And the next point you need to remember, in all the problems majority of the universities will have the syllabus in a similar way, that is, the solid will be resting on horizontal plane. It rests on HP. So every problem what you find in the question bank or in the university's syllabus, whatever is given to you, you will find that the solid is resting on HP. And since the solid rests on HP, similar to what the points that we have discussed in projection of planes, you remember the same point. If the plane is resting on HP, we used to draw the plane figure on HP in the orthographic projection of plane surfaces. The same concept applies here as well. Here the solid rests on HP, so remember the plane figure has to be drawn on the horizontal plane. And one more advantage here in the solid problems is that all the problems in majority of the universities will have the solid problems only resting on HP. So there is no confusion in drawing the plane figure in the first position. In first position we'll be drawing it on the horizontal plane. So all that you need to keep in mind is that whether to draw a edge condition problem or to draw a corner condition problem. So if it is a corner condition, draw the plane figure such that the corner is on the left. That is what we used to draw in planes. But here in solids, you remember you're going to draw it on the right. Say for example, in this problem, it is resting on HP on one of its edges of the base. So you make sure that one of the edge of the base is towards the right side when you draw the polygon in the first position. So now it is a square prism, so the top view of a square prism will look like a square. So let us draw a square using this rectangle by center option. You can type 35, 35 and the angle that you are supposed to give is 0. So if I place it in this manner, it will be a corner condition, and I want edge condition, so you can give the angle as 0 degrees. And remember the square has to be drawn with a dark line, which I've just missed it anyway. So you can just place it properly, because for a solid it is going to occupy more space in your page. The space has to be managed properly in the page that you are using. So this is square prism, and I hope all of you have watched the introduction to solids in my previous video. If you have not watched it, kindly watch it and get back to this. You will find the description for that video about here. We saw in the previous video that we'll name the top face without 1 and we'll name the bottom face with 1. So the top face is visible, so you can name it as A, B, C, D. Exactly below the top face you will find a bottom square face which are of the same dimensions of 35 millimeters. So bottom face will be named as A1. Since the top face is visible, we'll write the names of top face outside the bracket and bottom face will be hidden seeing from the top, so we'll write that within the bracket. And that completes the top view for this particular solid problem. So the front view will have the length of the axis which is standing vertical. Since the square prism is resting on HP, we'll draw the plane figure on HP, and we have done that. For the drawing the plane figure, only the side length is enough. So with the help of side length of 35, we have drawn the polygon. Since it is resting on one of its edges of the base, we have kept the base edge on the right side. Remember, right side. And now we need to draw the front view of this prism, which will have the length of the axis. But the axis length will be always measured from the center of the polygon. So identify the center of polygon using a thin line by drawing diagonals here. So this will be the center of the square, and remember these two lines are to be drawn with thin lines. Only the border has to be drawn with a dark line. So now this is the center of the prism. From here till XY line you draw one line, and from this particular point we can draw the length of the axis, which is given as 60 millimeters in this particular problem. So for the axis line, do not select the first line type, select the third line type, which will have a longer line, shorter line, longer and a shorter. So use this type of line to differentiate the axis with respect to other lines. Now this will give us the length of the axis, which is 60 millimeters. Now to generate the front view, we need to draw projection lines from all the points, and I've just explained you how a solid is formed. It will have base edges, top edges and the longer edges. So here, to generate all these edges, we just need to draw projection line from every point till the XY line. Now these points will give us the base edges. Similar to how you projected plane, you can bring up that concept itself to generate the base. The same has to be extended to the top face. The top face is found at a height of 60 millimeters from the base. So we'll name the bottom face now, that is base edges. So this point will be named as A1 dash, and within the bracket you will have D1 dash. Because concentrate only on the base points that is inside the bracket, forget about the top face. When we are drawing the top face, we'll concentrate on that. So only the points which are in the bracket. If you look at this edge, A1 is the first point looking from bottom to top direction, and next we will find D1. So A1 has to be written first, D1 has to be written in the bracket. So here we'll name it as B1 dash, and within the bracket we'll have C1 dash. You will find that the bottom face is generated in the front view. In the same manner, the top face has to be generated here. For that, we'll continue with the projection line from the top view, that is from point A till here. Point A is found at a height of 60 millimeters from the XY line, which we have already marked it here. So you can draw a projection line from here for a height of 60 millimeters. You can see a dotted line appears, but while you are drawing it manually, you need to measure 35 millimeters in the 60 millimeter height and draw the rectangle. Now the front view should also be drawn with a dark line, so you can just thicken these lines with of a greater width. Now name the top face as well similarly, and now you concentrate only the names of the top face, that is A, B, C, D. So looking from front, the first point will be A, second point will be D on the top face. We had A1, D1 at the bottom face. In the same manner, here in the top face we will find A dash and D dash. And over this side, similar to what we found B1, C1 dash here, we'll find B and C at the top face here. So this will complete the front view of the square prism. Now remember, drawing the first position in every solid problem what you see in your syllabus is quite simple. All that you need to decide, the question that you need to ask for the first position is whether it is resting on edge or whether the solid is resting on corner, based on which you generate the top view. So the top view can be drawn with edge on the right if it is a edge condition problem, and you draw it in such a way that corner is on the right if it is a corner condition problem, which we'll see as an example in the upcoming videos. So as of now, for this particular square prism problem, we have the first position completed. And now just recall what we used to do in projection of plane surfaces. Whenever you go to the second position, the condition has to be taken in such a way that where you have drawn the plane figure, take the condition with respect to that plane. And as I already mentioned, you will find all the problems in majority of the syllabus what you will find in different universities, you will see that the solid will be resting on HP. So since it rests on HP, we would have drawn the plane figure on HP itself. Now it is very clear, for the second position we have to take the condition with respect to HP. You see here there is one condition with HP given and one condition with VP given. But now since the plane figure is on HP, you need to take the condition with HP and apply it in the second position. And this is applicable for all the problems in fact. So that is a point that you can remember, which will make your solution process faster and simpler, especially in this orthographic projection of solids. So we'll take the condition with HP. It says that it is inclined at 45 degrees. Now what is inclined to HP at 45 degrees is the axis. So we have not named the axis here. Since the condition will find it with respect to axis, let us name the axis also. And I hope all of you know the meaning of axis of a solid will be found exactly at the center of that particular solid. So this is square prism, and this line what we find here is called as the axis of the solid. So for our reference, let us name this as O dash in the top and O1 dash in the bottom. Now do not have any confusion why I am putting it inside the square bracket. It's very simple because I just want the axis line to be differentiated from the points of the solid. So points of the solid are named with A, B, C, D, A1, B1, C1, T1. Let us differentiate the axis line with the help of a square bracket. That's it. So now the question says the axis is inclined at 45 degrees to the horizontal plane. So angle HP, you are going to draw it in the vertical plane, that is opposite, as we have done in the projection of planes and even lines and points. So any condition with HP will be visible in the opposite plane, that is a vertical plane. So let us check the position of axis in the first position. So right now you can see O dash O1 dash is the axis and it is inclined at an angle of 90 degrees to the XY line, and the length of the axis is 60 millimeters. So in the question also it was mentioned the length of the axis is 60 millimeters. So this length remains as true length, and we don't find any appears to be given here. So this angle is also true angle. So we can directly incline this axis at an angle of 45 degrees in the next position. The question says it is resting on one of the edges of the base on HP. If you have a look at this condition, it says that the square prism is resting on HP on one of its edges of the base. So according to the drawing procedure what we are following, we have considered the edge that is on the right side to be resting on the horizontal plane. So if that edge is resting on horizontal plane, it must lie on XY line while we are drawing it in the projections, right? So which is the edge that is resting on HP then? You need to select the edge that is on the right side, and one more important thing, it is the edges of the base. So the base edge what you find here is B1 dash C1 dash, while BC is the edge which is found in the top face. But here it says it is resting on one of its edges of the base. So the resting edge here is going to be B1 dash C1 dash, which must still lie on the XY line as I go on with the second and third position. So do not directly draw a 45 degree axis line, which we will not get the answers properly, or the projections will go wrong because we will fail to keep the B1 dash C1 dash on XY line if you directly draw a 45 degree axis line. So what we need to do then in order to project it in the second position? Remember, it is same for prism as well as for the pyramid. Now the solving the solid problems is quite easy when compared to plane problems. As we already saw in the very first position, you don't have confusion where to draw plane figure, HP or VP. That question is eradicated. Same thing here. For prism and pyramid, you follow the same procedure. If the angle is given with respect to axis, whatever be the angle, say x degrees, you incline the base of that particular solid at an angle of 90 minus that particular angle. So if the angle is x, you incline the base at 90 minus x in the next position. So right now we have to incline the axis at 45 degrees. So what is 90 minus 45 is again going to be 45. So we will incline the base at an angle of 45 degrees in the next position. So first we will copy this as it is to the second position, which you cannot do it manually until and unless I teach you the procedure. So to incline the base at an angle of 90 minus the angle required with respect to axis, I'll tell you why it is 90 minus that particular angle very shortly. So first we will select say a projection line which is of smaller line, thin line type, and now here I'm going to draw a 45 degree line. On this line I need to place the base of the particular prism, and what has to be placed on this line is the base of the solid. Remember it, whether it is prism or pyramid, whatever the angle of axis is given, you take 90 minus that particular angle given and incline the base in that particular 90 minus angle given. While in this case it is 45 degrees, so 90 minus 45 still remains as 45. I am drawing the baseline at 45 degrees. You can simply copy this first position as it is. Select the point which is supposed to be placed on the XY line. As we see here, it is resting on HP on one of its edges of base. That edges of base which we have selected in our drawing is B1 dash C1 dash. So select that particular point and place it exactly at this intersection of 45-degree line and this XY line. And now we need to rotate this, selecting B1 dash C1 dash as a fixed point and A1 dash D1 dash as the second point, and tilt it so that the base is inclined to XY line at an angle of 45 degrees. Anyway, that line which is disturbing, you can delete it. It is not required now, because all that I wanted here is the base to be inclined at an angle of 45 degrees. Remember, none of the names of the front view should come below the XY line. So make sure you move it and rotate it so that it is not coming below the XY line. So now that the base is inclined at 45 degrees, you can check the angle of the axis with respect to the XY line, and you will see that it is also inclined at 45 degrees. The reason is very simple, as I just zoom this particular portion and show it to you. So what we have made here, the angle was given with respect to the axis. If you just observe, this is the axis line and this is the base, and this is the XY line. Now this thing what I am showing you here is only for your understanding. So we have the question data given that axis is making an angle of 45 degrees with respect to horizontal plane, which means that we have to make the axis inclined at 45 degrees to the XY line. But when we do that directly with the axis line, this point will go away from the XY line. We want to make sure that the point B1 dash C1 dash still rests on the XY line. So in order to do that, instead of inclining the axis, we can incline the base at 90 minus the angle required. So this is at an angle of 45 degrees. We incline the base at 90 minus 45 degrees. Why? Because if you just observe this particular thing carefully, now remember, these things are not required to be done for you, but it is required for you to understand. So if you observe this particular portion here, we are going to find a right angle triangle. This green color line which I have drawn is a right angle triangle. If you just observe the angle here with respect to these two edges, it is going to be 90 degrees. So one thing is known, the axis is making an angle of 90 degrees with respect to the base within this particular triangle, which is going to be formed after we draw it, right? So if we know that this is a 90-degree angle and the angle given with respect to axis from the question is 45 degrees, the remaining angle here with respect to base and XY line should be 90 minus the angle that is given in the problem, because the sum of all interior angles will be 180 degrees. One angle is known as 90 degrees, so the sum of the remaining two angles should be 90 degrees itself. So if this is 40 degrees given and the base has to be inclined at 90 minus 40, that is 50 degrees. Remember, it is very simple. Hence we take the angle of 90 minus the angle whatever is given here to the base. So angle given with respect to axis, we can incline the base at 90 minus the angle that is required. So if this is 30 degrees, the base will be inclined at 60 degrees. If this is 40 degrees, the base will be inclined at 50 degrees, that is 90 minus 40. Now it is 45 degrees required, so we incline this base at 90 minus 45, which will be nothing but 45 degrees. And now this is inclined at 45 degrees, so that completes the condition with respect to HP, and we have done with the second position front view. Now to generate the top view from here, we just need to draw projection lines from every point. And remember, in planes we used to maximum draw projection lines of 6, that is in hexagon, or maybe maximum of 8 in case of a circle. But now we have more number of points, and it is more important that you concentrate every point and draw it point to point with respect to the edges that are existing in a square prism, or else if you miss even one point, the shape of that particular prism will change and finally your solution will also become wrong. So I've told you the square prism is actually made up of base edge, top edge and longer edge. So let us just follow the same principle. We'll first complete the base, drawing lines from the base, and then we'll draw lines from the top base. So base is made up of A1, B1, C1, D1. We'll draw lines from each of the point. So A1 dash till the point A1, and this point will be the new point A1, and we'll repeat the process. we'll draw projection lines even from the top face. Use only projection lines because while you're drawing solid problems, you will find hidden edges which never existed, or we never came across that in case of planes. But in solids, it is important that you differentiate the visible edge with a dark line and hidden edge with a dotted line, which we will see shortly. So first and foremost, what we'll do is we'll identify all the points of the prism with the help of projection lines only. So from A dash till A, we'll draw a projection line, and this intersection will give us the point small a. So now a square prism, what we see here, is made up of 8 points. So all the 8 points are actually projected right now in the second position top view. But we need to join them with dark line and dotted line depending on the visible edges and the hidden edges. So now to identify the visible edges and hidden edges, you will find different methods which are given in different textbooks, and maybe the method which I tell you will be completely different. I do not know, but I feel that this method is helpful and easier to identify the visible and the hidden edges. So before I step into that, I hope all of you have watched the previous video. If not, kindly watch that and come back, because you need to know what a prism and a pyramid, whether it is a square, hexagon, or whichever prism, is made up of. So in a square prism, it is made up of base and a top face. Base is named as A1, B1, C1, D1, and top is named as ABCD. So totally it has 8 corner points. So now we have projected all the 8 corner points. Why it is important to know how the solid prism or pyramid is made up, because you must not miss even one point while you are projecting it from one position to another. So it is important that you know what that particular solid is made up of and how many points or corner exist in that particular solid. So in the square prism, 8 points. So we have done with all the 8 points. So before we start to identify hidden and visible edges, let us first go back to that table which consists of the base edges, longer edges, and the visible edges. Now here we have the table of the edges what a square prism consists of. So which we discussed even in the previous video. This table was taken from that only. So if you just see here, the type of prism is square, and it is going to have base edges, top edges, and longer edges, which are already drawn here in the first and in the half of the second position. So it basically contains A1, B1, B1, C1, C1, D1, and D1, A1, which is the base, and you'll have AB, BC, CD, DA at the top, and you'll have the longer edges A, A1, B, B1, C, C1, and D, D1. There are 4 longer edges, 4 top edges, and 4 base edges. Now to identify the hidden edges in the second position top view, just look at this particular front view from top to bottom direction. So when we look at from the top to bottom direction, identify the farthest point which you will find in the front view of that particular drawing. So looking from top to bottom direction, this is the front view of the solid. The farmost point looking from top to bottom is going to be the point B1 dash and C1 dash. So this is the farthest point what you will find in the top to bottom direction. So why we need to identify this point? Because using this point we'll be able to identify the hidden edges. The same process repeats for whatever prism or pyramid that you are going to solve in the upcoming problems. In the second position, you just need to look at the front view from top to bottom direction, and the farthest point will be identified, the one that is touching the XY line. So in this case it is B1 dash, C1 dash. So now using this B1 dash, C1 dash, you just identify which are the edges that are connected to B1, C1. The edges that are connected to these 2 points B1 and C1 will be called as the hidden edges. So let us just refer to the table, because this table contains all the edges the prism is having. So we'll just look into which are the edges that contains the point B1 and C1, and let us just mark it for our understanding. So mark the edges which are going to contain either B1 or C1 or both of them. So the first edge is A1, B1. So here exists B1. So this is going to be a hidden edge. And then B1, C1. So this contains B1 and C1. This is also hidden edge. Next C1 D1, so this is also containing the point C1, so that is also hidden edge. When you go to the next one D1 A1, this does not consist either of the point, so this is not a hidden edge. AB, this also does not contain either of B1 and C1. Now remember, B1 is different and B is different, do not get confused. So here we have B1 C1, which we are finding, which is does not exist here, does not exist here, does not exist here, does not exist here. A1 does not exist here, B1. So here we have the point B1. So identify and highlight this as a hidden edge. So B1. Then go to next one, C1. So C1 means contains C1. So this is also going to be called as a hidden edge. D1. So it does not contain either B1 or C1. So that will complete the identification of the hidden edges. Now how do we draw this hidden edge? Now we have identified the hidden edge. We can draw that with the help of a dotted line, because we need to differentiate the visible edge and the hidden edge. So hidden edge will be drawn with this dotted line, and check for A1, B1 and join it with a dotted line. Repeat the same for the edges that we have identified as hidden edge here. B1 C1, B1 C1, C1 D1. So from C1 to D1 you draw it with a dark line and a dotted line because it is a hidden edge. D1 A1 AB will join all this because these are all going to be visible edges. The next hidden edge is B1. So point B to B1. It's as simple as that. If it is B1, locate the point B and draw a line till B1 with a hidden edge line. And C1. Point C is here, C1 is here. You can join it with a hidden line. So these are the hidden edges for this particular position of the square prism, which is axis inclined at 45 degrees to HP axis length of 60 millimeters and base edge length of 35 millimeters. Now remember, depending on the varying of these dimensions and the angle inclination, the hidden edges will also vary. Now you need to follow the method properly for every prism, that is identify the farthest point and locate those 2 points, and every edge that contains that particular point will be called as a hidden edge. The number of hidden edges will also vary depending on whether it is pentagon, square, prism or pyramid. Based on that, the number of hidden edges will also vary. Now hidden edges are done, all the remaining edges will be drawn as a visible edge. Now what are the remaining edges? You can just have a look at it. D1 A1. So we'll draw D1 A1 with a dark line, and now it is not dashed line, it is a continuous line. So D1 is here, A1 is here, we'll draw that with a dark line, right? And next go to the next one, AB, BC, CD and DA. Now if you just have a look at this, A to B is actually already connected with a dotted line, that is a dashed line. But remember, while you are drawing the different types of lines in the projections, that is orthographic projections, you must remember that the first priority will be given to the visible edge. The first priority will be given to the visible edge, and the next priority will be given to the hidden edge. The third priority will be given to the axis line, and the fourth priority will be given to the projection line. But as you see here, we have the hidden edge from point A to B. Always refer point to point. So if you are drawing the edge AB, look at point A to point B. So it is already having a hidden edge, but the preference has to be given to the visible edge. So you can overlap the hidden edge with the visible edge. So visible edge will be drawn simply with a continuous dark line. So we'll connect A to B with a continuous dark line, right? Repeat the process for the remaining edges. AB is done, BC, CD, DA. So B to C, C to D. Again here also we have a hidden edge, but give the preference to the visible edge. So you can overlap it from C to D only. From C to D only. And the last edge is D to A. So now we have covered first 4 edges and the second 4 edges. Now the last thing that remain is the longer edges. Out of 4 longer edges, 2 are hidden, which we have already marked it with a dotted line. 2 are visible. Which are the 2 visible edges? A1. So identify the location of point A, and you can see from A to A1 already there is some hidden line which is existing. But do not worry, you just need to overlap it, because we are following a process of identifying the hidden edges first and then the visible edge. So hidden edge, though it exists already from A to A1, we need to give priority to the visible edge, and this has to be done only from point A to A1. So A is here, A1 is here, you join it with a visible edge, and the last edge is D1, because BB1 CC1 is already connected as a hidden edge. D1, you find the point D and join it to D1 with a visible edge. It overlaps, and this will give us the second position top view for the square prism. We identified the hidden edges, though there were 5 hidden edges, out of which 4 are overlapped with a visible edge. So we give priority to the visible edge in the drawing, but only one hidden edge is actually remaining as a hidden edge in the second position top view. Now in the second position we have just missed one more thing, that is marking the points of the axis. So the axis line is named as O dash O1 dash, which we have not named it in the top view. Let me just name it in the top view as O and O1. Now if we try to project it in the second position using a projection line, we draw a projection line from O dash till O, and we will get the point O, that is center of top face, over here, and repeat the process for point O1 dash to O1, and which we will name it as point O1. Now as I already mentioned, the priority will be given for the axis line when compared to the projection line. Axis line here is O to O1, which is connected with the projection line at the moment. So let us just change it to an axis line. Axis line will be given with the third line in the line type. It should be drawn with a thin line and connected with the axis line. Now that completes the second position for this particular problem. Now just move the data over here towards the left side. So the third position, we are going to apply the condition with respect to VP. So here we have the condition with VP, 30 degree to VP. What is inclined at 30 degree to VP? If you just go back to the question, it says that the edges of base on which it is resting is inclined to VP at 30 degrees. So it is resting on one of the edges of the base, as we saw in the second position. While rotating the front view, we made sure that the edge that is on the right is still on the XY line. So the one that touches the XY line in VP is the resting edge on the horizontal plane. So the resting edge here is B1 C1. So we need to incline this B1 C1 at an angle of 30 degree with VP. Angle given with respect to VP will be visible and will be drawn on the horizontal plane. Let us check the length of that edge B1 C1 in the second position, because if the length has changed in the second position, then we need to find out the beta angle. It is the same thing what we used to do in projection of planes. Before going to third position, it is important to check whether there exists a beta angle or not. So to identify that, you need to check the length of that particular element with respect to what the angle is given with respect to. So here the angle is given as 30 degree to VP, and what is inclined at 30 degree to VP is the edges of base on which the solid is resting. So the edges of base on which it is resting is B1 C1, as we have identified it from the drawing, the one that touches the XY line. So check the length of B1 C1 in first as well as in the second position. So here it is 35 from B1 to C1, and here we have B1 C1. If you check the length, it still remains as 35. So the length has not changed from first to second position with respect to the base edge which is resting on HP, that is B1 C1. Hence there is no need to find out the beta angle. We'll directly incline this edge B1 C1 at an angle of 30 degrees to the vertical plane. So angle VP, you draw it in horizontal plane. So you can take a projection line and draw a 30 degree line over here with respect to XY line. Now see here, if you are drawing a 30 degree line which is touching XY line, though this is going to be 30 degree line, while I am drawing this particular projection in the third position, I must make sure that this projection does not overlap or go beyond the XY line. It should be below the XY line only with respect to this top view. So drawing the 30-degree line here will make the whole projection of this second position go beyond the xy line, which must not happen. Which I have told you, even in the projection of planes, it is not mandate that you have to draw 30-degree line from xy line only. The thing is that you can draw simply a horizontal line and measure 30 degrees from that line also. If this line is 30 degrees with respect to this horizontal line, it will also be 30 degrees with respect to the xy line, because xy line is also horizontal, right? So you can draw this particular 30-degree line quite far from the xy line, because we do not want the second position to overlap with the xy line. So draw that 30-degree line as far as possible, so that you have enough space above and below, so that it does not go and overlap with the xy line. So on this 30-degree line, I have to incline the edge B1 C1. So here we can use the command called move command. While you are drawing it manually, you have to use the arc method. So switch on copy, select the point B1 and move it and place it on this 30-degree line, and then you can use rotate command. Select point B1 first and then select C1 and rotate it to 30 degrees, and that completes the top view of the third position. From here we need to generate the final position of the solid. So now to generate the final position, the process is same no matter you're drawing solid, line, point or even plane. You just need to draw projection lines from every point, and you need to remember how many points has to be projected into the next position. That is why I have made a video of introduction to solids, because there you will understand how many corners or how many points are existing in a prism or in a pyramid. As you see here, we have that all the types of edges also listed down. So now we'll draw projection lines from every point starting from the base edge. You just make it as a cycle. You start and complete the base, and then you can draw projection lines from the top face. So base is made up of ones, as we have named it here, and top is named without ones, ABCD. Okay, so we'll start from A1 and draw projection line till A1 dash. Anyway, in the computer you're going to have a dotted line. If it does not appear, you can take the cursor over here, bring it back. You'll find that dotted line alignment. You can stop the vertical line here and join it back here. So this new intersection will be the new point A1 dash. Right? Repeat this process for the remaining points. So I'll just do it for B1 till B1 dash. B1 dash is found on the XY line, so I'll just stop it here on the XY line. Already it is connected to B1 dash. So this intersection above B1 will be called as B1 dash. So now that we have done with all the 8 points in the final position, we just need to connect them so that we are clear with the visible edge as well as the hidden edge. Now the hidden edge was B1 C1 in the top view of the second position. It is not going to be same in the final position. We need to identify the new hidden edges for this particular new position of the solid. So again we will refer to this set of edges which are making the square prism to be formed. Now how to identify the hidden edge in the final position? How to identify these hidden edges? It is quite simple. Like we saw the front view of second position from top to bottom direction. Now let us have a look at the final third position from bottom to top direction. From bottom to top direction, and identify the farthest one point in this particular top view in the third position. So looking from bottom to top, the point that belongs to solid and which is far is going to be the point B. This point B is one which is farthest. We'll identify the farthest point as point B, looking from bottom to top direction. So the edges emerging from this point B will be the hidden edge in the final position. It is going to vary for different prism and pyramid how many points you are supposed to refer to identify the hidden edges in the final position. Now remember, the procedure and the methods which I am telling you is applicable only for that particular position only. Here in the second position we saw top to bottom direction, which is applicable only for second position. Now we are seeing bottom to top direction, and we are going to see only one point bottom to top direction for a square prism. If it is a pentagon or hexagon prism, I'll just let you know about it in the next problems. Okay, so now looking from bottom to top direction, the farthest point is B. The edges emerging from B will be called as hidden, or to put it other way around, the edges which contain B will be the hidden edges. Okay, so which are the edges that contain this point B? We'll identify it with the set of edges that we have for a square prism. If you look at the first one, we'll go one by one. Base edges A1, B1. There is no existence of B, so this is visible. Okay, B1, C1, no B. C1, D1, D1, A1, no B exists here. Go to the top edges AB. So here we have the point B, so this is one of the hidden edge, right? And then go to the next one, BC. BC contains the point B, so this is also going to be called as a hidden edge. Okay, and then CD, there is no B here, so it is not hidden. DA, no B here, so it is not hidden. Okay, now AA1, no point B, it is not hidden. BB1, there is an existence of point B, so this is called as one of the hidden edge in the final position. CC1, no B. DD1, no B. So B is existed in three edges, AB, BC and BB1. So let us join these three edges with the help of a hidden edge. Now to identify the hidden edges, all that we need to do is look at the top view in the third position from bottom to top direction. So this square prism will have a base and a top face. Looking from bottom to top direction, see which is closer to the direction of view. So if I am looking at from bottom to top direction, the one that is closer is A1, B1, C1, D1, which is nothing but the base of the prism, while the top of the prism is present over on the other side, looking from bottom to top direction. So looking from bottom to top direction, the closer to the viewer is the base. So by identifying this, we'll darken the base first. So the first thing that we do is, to identify the hidden edge is looking from bottom to top direction, the base is closer and hence darken the base edges. Which are the base edges which we'll find from the table A1, B1, B1, C1, C1, D1 and D1, A1. So we'll darken this with the help of a thick line from A1 to B1, B1 to C1, C1 to D1. Identify the points correctly, because above D1 you'll find D1. You need to identify it by looking at the line, projection line from where it is emerging. While you're doing it manually, you can just highlight those points with the help of a dark dot or a into mark. Okay, so that completes the base. And now for the second step, what we do is, from the outermost points of the one that we have darkened, just concentrate on this thing which we have darkened here and identify the outermost points for this particular drawing that we have made. The outermost points will be A1 dash and C1 dash, A1 dash and C1 dash. So in this base, A1, B1, C1, D1 are present, out of which, if you look at this drawing, it is clearly visible A1 is one of the outermost point and C1 is another outermost point. So one outermost point is A1 dash and the other outermost point is C1 dash. So you can choose any of the point, either A1 dash or C1 dash, and start drawing a visible dark line so that it covers the boundary in the final position. What do I mean by boundary? You will understand clearly when I complete it. So from A1 dash to A dash, we'll draw the first line, And next line, I'm not going to join it to B dash because it comes inside the solid. So now I hope it is clear to all. I'm drawing the outermost boundary. So now from A dash, I'm going to join it to D dash to C dash, and from C dash to C1 dash. That will complete the outer boundary for this particular third position solid. Now once we complete the outermost boundary, you will see that there is only one point which is not touched by the line which we have completed. So remember the steps that we have followed. So the second step we do is find the outermost points from the base edges. So we identified it as A1 dash and draw an outer boundary connecting to the outermost points what exist in the third position. And after we do this, there is one point that remains which is not touched by any of the line. In some cases there will be one point which is untouched, and in some cases, say hexagon prism or pentagon prism, we'll find 2 points which are untouched by the lines that we have completed. So once we identify that point, the edges emerging from that point will be hidden. So in this case, the one that we have found out is B. So the edges emerging from B can be identified with the help of the table that we have here. A1, B1. So there is no B here. B1, C1, C1, D1, D1, A1, AB. Now AB contains the point B. So this is going to be a hidden edge. Next, BC. BC also contains the point B. So this is also another hidden edge. CD does not contain B. DA does not contain B. AA1 does not contain B. BB1 contains B. So this is another hidden edge, right? C1 does not contain B, D1 does not contain B. So out of all the edges which we have here, there are 3 hidden edges according to the procedure that we have followed. So from this point B, 3 edges emerge, AB, BC and BB1. So we can draw those with the help of hidden edges, and then we can see what else to be done finally. So draw A to B, point A is here, that is A dash, to B dash with a dotted line, dotted dark line. Next is BC. From B dash to C dash, it is a hidden line. So draw it with a dotted line. And BB1 should also be drawn with a hidden line. B dash to B1 dash with a dotted hidden edge. So now the hidden edges are marked. So let us just cross check all the edges which are done till now in the final position. You can just cross check it one by one, A1, B1, whether it is joined or not. So check A1, B1, B1, C1, C1, D1 and D1, A1. A1, B1, B1, C1, C1, D1 and D1, A1. So all of these edges are already joined with a visible line. Next, we'll check out AB, BC, A dash, B dash, B dash, C dash, C dash, D dash and D dash, A dash. All these 4 edges are also joined with the help of hidden as well as visible edges. Right now what we are checking is whether the edge is joined or not. Now let us check the last one, that is a longer edge. Check A1. A1 is joined. B1 is joined with a hidden edge. Either a visible edge or a hidden edge should be joined with respect to the final position. Next is C1. C1 is joined. And the last one is DD1. DD1 is yet to be joined. So the remaining edges will be considered as a visible edge. So we can draw the line D to D1 with a visible edge. And that completes the solution for this particular problem. So after the 2 steps, what we actually do to identify the hidden edge is So third thing what we do is identify the point or points in certain cases, either 1 or 2 or 3 points also you will have which are untouched by the visible line that we drew from drawing the boundary from the outermost base edge points. So after drawing that boundary, the point which is untouched will be the point that will be identified as the edges emerging from that point as hidden edges. Now to identify the edges emerging from that point or points, we need to use this table. Now again, this table is not mandate that you must have this table. You can remember these edges also. As you solve a couple of problems, you will have all these names recorded in your mind, and all that thing you need to do is to follow this process in order to identify the hidden edges. Now after identifying the hidden edges, cross-check all the edges that exist in the table, and those which are not joined will be considered as a visible edge only. So hidden edges will be drawn only in the third step. So the fourth step, you just need to cross-check and check for the edges that are not connected and connect it with a visible edge. For any doubts or clarifications, you can drop a comment or contact me through my mail ID.